Hi there, this is your June 2025 market update. Well, while May we saw some positivity and some sale increases in the Niagara market, June did tell us a different story. So we are now sitting at about over 3,400 active listings. So that means our inventory levels are higher than they've ever been before. And this has become a common theme, not just in Niagara, but all over Ontario. Inventory levels are high in all markets and demand is light, most likely because of the economic events and everything going on. Now, one thing too for the month of June, and this stat is not really great, sales were down 27%, the second 27% from the 10-year average, and that is the second lowest of all time. So June did not perform very, very well. Also, too, the average sale price in Niagara for June was $6,888,000. Now, one thing I do want to draw attention to, though, is also talk about the average asking price. So average sale price in Niagara, $688,000. Average asking price, $869,000. So what does that say? What that means is the majority of sellers who are on the current market are asking too much. The market has definitely shown its colors. We were waiting for something great this year, interest rates being low, expecting high demand, and guess what? It didn't happen, all right? Buyers are kind of acclimatizing to the rates, acclimatizing to the prices. I will say this, and I'm not saying this is for everybody, but if you're a buyer, it is the absolute most affordable it has been in years. In 3 years, it has been the most affordable. Interest rates are lower than they have been over the past 3 years, as well as prices are lower. Am I saying it's affordable for everyone? It is definitely not. That is an ongoing challenge. But for those who have been looking to buy and can afford and get pre-approved, buyers, it is your best time now. Okay? Because one thing I'm going to bring insight to is Toronto, because Toronto really runs the engine of Southern Ontario. If things perform well in Toronto, things start performing well in the outer markets. So one thing that's happened in Toronto, April, May, June, have seen sale increases. So what does that say? What it says is that buyers are re-entering the market and demand is slowly picking up. So if Toronto continues to have these sales increases, their inventory levels will slowly shrink and push buyers to other markets. Now, that may be a long ways away, but it is the start of something. There is also some other small positive aspects in certain markets as well, especially in Niagara. Like North End St. Catharines is performing very well, whereas Niagara Falls is not performing well. There is probably about 50% of the active listings in Niagara Falls are actually vacant properties, right? There is tons of inventory on the market. So for sellers, again, if you have your house priced well, and it shows well, you will sell in a reasonable amount of time. There is opportunities for you. I am also noticing too the relativity factor between those who are selling and buying. They're seeing the benefits. They understand their house has gone down, but they're also noticing that the house they're purchasing has gone down. And they're actually quite excited because prices have softened. This is the start of something. This is kind of where it's kind of at its bottom, and it may stay flat for the next little bit due to the economic events, but eventually at some point the tide will turn. So really what we need to take out of this was, yes, June was not a great performing month. Little positivity coming out of Toronto. Again, I remind people too, especially sellers, we are going into July and August. Not always the greatest selling months as demand is diminished because a lot of people have already made their purchases in May. And not only that, a lot of people are taking holidays, right? So it'll be really interesting to see what kind of happens in July with the trade talks and everything like that. There's supposed to be hopefully a deal kind of made. And if that happens, that will slowly change the game. But overall, interest rates, buyers have acclimatized to interest rates. They're not watching the TV every time a rate announcement happens anymore because they know where the rates are at. Maybe they'll go up slightly, maybe they'll come down slightly, but no real dramatic change that we're looking for as far as interest rates. Not only that, prices have come down. So again, buyers, it is your time. And sellers, if you're thinking of selling and buying, lots of great opportunities for you. Sellers, unfortunately, for those of you who are cashing out, well, it is what it is. You're not getting the big dollars you were, but I'll tell you this much. If you bought your house in 2010, you're certainly still getting more than what you paid. Look forward to talking to you in July.